Panel 1. The Trouble. There was a hillside, and in the hillside there were burrows. Not many, 8 to be exact. 8 real burrows dug into real earth, and that was all the hillside had. The trouble began the morning Pip, the hamster, and Bramble, the rabbit, both went looking for a place to sleep. Pip had been counting burrows since she was small, and the one she wanted, the warm one, the dry one, she had always called Burrow 2. Bramble had also been counting, and Bramble's favourite, the one near the roots where the wind couldn't reach, was also called Burrow 2. They arrived at the same moment, they went in the same door, and by morning Pip's seed store was buried under Bramble's bedding, and Bramble's bedding smelled entirely of seeds, and neither of them could find anything at all. This is what happens when everybody uses the real number for the real place. Sooner or later, 2 animals say 2 and mean the same hole in the ground. Panel 2. The idea. Now the sensible thing would be to make one of them count differently. Tell Bramble that her burrow is really number 1 and be done with it. But that is a terrible solution, and here is why. Bramble would have to relearn every number she knows. So would every animal who arrived after her. Every single one would need to be told which burrows were already taken before it could even begin. So the hillside did something cleverer. It let them both keep counting exactly as they always had, and it gave each of them a little map of their own. Pip keeps her numbers. Bramble keeps hers. But when Pip says 2, her map quietly says, that means real burrow 4. And when Bramble says 2, her map says that means real burrow 1. Neither of them ever finds out. Pip goes to sleep certain she is in burrow 2. So does Bramble. They are in different burrows, and they are both correct. The numbers each animal uses are its virtual memory. The little map is the page map. The actual holes in the actual hillside are the physical memory. 3 words, 1 idea. You may keep your own numbers because something in the middle knows the truth. Panel 3, how the address works. Here is the part that surprises everyone. When Pip goes looking for something, a seed, say, she isn't just naming a burrow, she's naming a spot. Burrow 2, 90 paces in. 2 questions in one breath. Which burrow and how deep inside it? And only the first one needs the map. Which burrow? That has to be translated, because Pip's 2 isn't the hillside's 2. But 90 paces in, 90 paces is 90 paces. Every burrow is the same length. The depth doesn't change no matter whose burrow you're standing in. So the map translates the first half of the address and lets the second half walk straight through, untouched. The first half is the page number. Pip's is the VPN, the hillside's is the PPN. The second half is the offset, and it never gets translated at all. Panel 4, one real lookup. Watch it happen once, slowly. Pip asks for address 2C8. The 2 is her burrow. The C8 is how deep. The map is checked, entry 2. It says real burrow 4, and it says something else, a single mark, meaning, yes, this burrow actually exists right now. That mark is the resident bit, and we'll need it in a moment. Out comes address 4C8. Look at what changed. The 2 became a 4. The C8 didn't move. It went in as C8 and came out as C8, because nobody ever needed to ask it anything. Panel 5. The hillside fills up. Autumn came, and with it more animals than burrows. 16 creatures wanted a place. 8 places existed. And here the hillside did the second clever thing. It kept a shed. A cold, slow, faraway shed down at the bottom of the hill. And when a new animal arrived and every burrow was full, the hillside looked at all 8 and asked a single question. Who hasn't been home in the longest time? That one goes to the shed. Least recently used, not the smallest, not the newest, not the least important, simply the one who is least likely to be missed in the next few minutes. And when that animal does come back, its map entry now says, "No, not here." The resident bit is off, so everything stops, and somebody must trudge down to the shed and carry the sleeper back up the hill. That stop is a page fault, and it is slow, and it is the reason your computer sometimes pauses for no reason you can see. One more thing before the eviction. Did the animal rearrange its bedding while it was up here? If it did, the bedding has to be carried down too, or the changes are lost. That's the dirty bit. One mark saying, "This one changed something, don't just drop it." If nothing changed, the eviction is free. Panel 6, the Burgfrieden. By winter, the hillside was full and quiet. A tortoise in one chamber, a burrowing owl in the next, a snake below that, and Pip in the fourth, and the rest asleep in the shed. Different animals, different chambers, all in the same hill, and no one, not once, wandered into anyone else's. This really happens. A gopher tortoise digs a burrow in the sandy south, and hundreds of other species move in. Owls, snakes, frogs, beetles, each taking a different chamber. Naturalists have counted 350 kinds of tenant in a single tortoise burrow. But out in the real hillside, that peace is only a habit. Nothing enforces it. Sometimes a tenant eats its landlord. In memory, the peace is a wall. There is a warden at the gate, and the warden reads the map on every single visit. Not the first one, not the suspicious ones, everyone. If Pip ever asks for a burrow that isn't on her map, she doesn't get in. She gets stopped at the door. That's the MMU, and that stop is a segmentation fault, the hillside refusing instantly to let one animal into another's chamber. And this is the real gift, the thing all the maps and bits and sheds are actually for. Not saving space, not counting cleverly. Pip spends her whole life believing she owns the hillside. Bramble believes it too. So does the owl and the snake and the tortoise who dug the place to begin with. Every one of them is wrong. Every one of them is safe. The end.